about street takeovers.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, that gets under my skin. Those street takeovers. It sends
Yours and mine too, man.
It sends a message of lawlessness. And I guess California, they tolerate it, but here in the great state of Florida, man, it just bothers me when I see that trying to bubble up. So today I saw a video in California, and I'll show it on the podcast. So if you're listening, tune into the video. Nick Off Duty Presents on YouTube. But they parked a Jeep in the middle of the intersection.
Okay.
And they poured gasoline all over it, lit it on fire, and then did donuts around it with all the people watching, and they were drifting around the car that's on fire. Now I assume that car is stolen, or somebody has a lot of money.
I did see that video.
You saw that video?
Yes, I was like, I just didn't understand what the hell was going on. I was like, what are they doing?
Right, with the gas, right?
I'm
like, is this a new Jeep commercial? Are they trying to do an organic, grassroots Jeep commercial?
I don't think so.
Like Tesla was like bulletproof with the Tesla Cybertruck, and this one's flame resistant.
Yeah, flame resistant.
No, so they lit the thing on fire, and then they're doing donuts around it. And I mean, I guess that's California. That's why you do your thing over there, Cali. With side, but right. East side's the best side. Florida's the best state. I say that. You don't have to say it. I'm sure you believe it, but. It's popping up here.
Yeah, those incidents are occurring.
Yeah, and not saying that we're not addressing it, but what are some things that you would do as sheriff in order to mitigate this, stop it in its tracks, and
of course,
make it safe for everyone to be out driving around without getting stopped in the middle of an intersection waiting while people are doing donuts?
No, of course. First, I got to give a shout out to our governor because he's been ahead of this. Mm-hmm. He has put out laws that are in place that we can arrest and what the general public can do, specifically with the street takeovers. Since I was working in Homeland Security, my unit and other units from Homeland Security were working those incidents.
Yeah,
and it was one of those where my approach as sheriff would have been totally different.
Yeah,
if we know where these incidents are occurring, you should start to enforce, and not with unmarks. You should do it with marked units.
Yeah.
Proactively ahead. It's occurring. For example, Kendall and 137. We all know where Kendall and 137 is. If it's occurring right there, the day of or the day of that it's being announced that it's going to be or whatever it's going to do, have a massive amount of enforcement. Not just in the intersection, but in the surrounding neighborhoods. Any violations that are occurring, so it could be the guy in the yellow Dodge Charger with a little bumblebee or whatever it is.
Yeah.
He gets stopped for a ticket, and he's going to be like, he ran a stop sign, or he improperly changed lanes, or
he
was
broke
speeding.
the law.
He broke the law.
It wasn't the car.
It wasn't the car.
It wasn't the bumblebee car. People are like, really? Yeah, but he broke the law.
He broke the law.
Yeah.
So the individual will get cited. You have more of that visibility, more of that presence. It'll deter people.
Yeah.
I could attest on that because just by having my unit in the transit system, we have deterred a lot of crimes. Mm-hmm. Thefts have gone down. Fare evasions have gone down. People aren't committing suicide on the platform, which is great because they see the officers there. Mm-hmm. So it deters it. So that would be one of the things. You start doing that proactive enforcement ahead of time. You have that intelligence gathering, and you'll be able to decrease those incidents from occurring. And you educate the public.
Yeah.
We'll do it through social media. Put it out there. If you are caught in one of these locations just for viewing it, you will be cited, you will be arrested, whatever the law says about that. If you are caught, your car will be towed.
Yeah.
Our agency is currently taking those steps, but it's not enough. Right. We can't have that because that just encourages different lawlessness, and we can't have that in Miami-Dade County.
Mm-hmm. So it happens. Some policy changes in regards to maybe the way you take down the people involved that flee, or is there anything happening?
Those are things that would have to be implemented. Everybody might have their own personal views on how, because you have to make that choice.
Yeah.
Whether to enforce it, shout out to FHP, they do it. They are handling business. And that is something that Miami-Dade Police Department, Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office will implement. You train your officers properly. You educate the public. You're not just going to go around and pit people just for no reason. There has to be a certain criteria. But you stop them. You run from the police. This is what's going to happen. You try to flee and make a scene and get the meeting. No. Yeah. You stop it ahead of time. You mitigate these things from occurring.
Yeah, and he documented. Like, I think.
Yeah, of course.
I think, you know how far that message would go if you got the little hot rods on a flatbed and you're standing and you're just saying, hey, these guys decided to come out.
Yeah.
Not on my watch.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah, you have to have it. You need someone that's going to have the courage to back their officers up.
So the street takeover stuff is not only it shows lawlessness, and it's just a portrayal of the way that your area is going, right? That they cops allow this, why? Because you see it on social media. I'm on social media, so
Of course you see it.
Yeah, but not only that, there's a danger, right? There's a danger with all that.
Complete danger. Did you see the video? I don't know where it occurred. Same thing. They're doing a donut. And the joke about it was a heavier set female that was like, oh, they're giving away donuts. And she walks into it. And the car hits her and throws her across the street.
That I have seen countless videos.
But that was one of the more recent ones.
Yeah.
It's occurred multiple times.
Did you see the one where they're sitting in the windows of the car that's doing the donuts?
Oh.
And then the car flips and rolls and kills. I think one of them seriously injured, most of them. Go ahead.
Perfect example. No.
Yeah.
The statistics that we have through our traffic homicide unit, it just shows it.
Yeah.
These incidents occur. And then you have the individuals that have come out on TV saying, oh, he was a good person. Oh, why was he doing this?
Yeah.
And
To go back, then they're getting violent, right?
Yeah.
Not only with themselves, where there was a shooting up in the northern part of Miami-Dade the other day. One vehicle hit another one, and then they fired, bang, bang, bang. But with police, the police that are coming to stop, and maybe they're coming solo and one officer, and they're outnumbered, and an officer's getting out of their car, and as somebody's videoing, and as they're coming, the guy kicks the officer's door as the officer's opening it. And then there was an incident in Miami-Dade where officers trying to effect an arrest, and they shoot a firework.
Yeah, they threw the fire. Yeah.
Boom, boom. Bang. He's like, oh, my God. Man, so this stuff.
Unacceptable.
And, and I guess the ones that are arguing for it are like the kids, like the younger people that are just want to be, it's cool to do this. But a lot of people, they don't like that.
No, a lot. The consensus of the general public, no.
Yeah.
Listen, we all grew up here in Miami. People speed, people do things, but those are kid things. You can't have that. And when it gets to the point where you're endangering the lives of other people, the general public, yourself, you can't have that.
Do you think
driving is not a right? Driving is a privilege.
Yeah.
So if it's one of those where we have to start aggressively citing more, because you could see it. And if it gets to that point where you're like, this person might have to have their license revoked or reevaluated, we'll go that direction. But
so you support, and this might be something too that the public are saying, why aren't officers doing more? It's like, maybe, hey, look, I'm an officer, right? And I go in there to stop somebody, and then things just go out of hand, and something might happen. Now I'm like, oh, well, if my administration doesn't support me going in there and going hands-on and doing this, and I have to, and God forbid, I have to use some kind of force, or even the ultimate deadly force, then am I going to be backed by my agency? If that officer doesn't feel as though they're going to be backed by their agency, they're going to be like, well, not really hurting anybody. They'll be done in 15, 20 minutes. Let me just hang back or put my beep, 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 beep. No one leaves. It's on.
And that's the consensus around. Yeah. You ask any officer in any agency right now, and this is no jab at anyone, but majority of the agencies across Miami-Dade County, officers do not feel that they have the backing of their command staff. They literally feel they come out on the news, it doesn't look pretty. Next thing you know, they're going to be relieved of duty. They're going to be terminated. They could fight to get their jobs back. And that's incorrect. That's something that, for a law enforcement officer, you need to be able to know you are going to execute your job, your duties. You're going to end up doing it under good faith, and that you're going to have those protections afforded to you by law and by your agency. But most officers don't feel that.
Yeah.
And that is a sign of a lack of leadership.